International break. Give us your questions. Few of you did, and Sensitive Taint has sent one in and caused a bit of an argument between myself and Gonzo because we don't know what he meant exactly. So I'm going to tell you what the question is. Interpret how you like. He said, for the January transfer window, a transfer, a loan, and an academy player for the weak areas of the squad, like left back, maybe Doherty, Chilwell, and Ollie Scarles. So how I've interpreted it is you pick a position and you find an academy player, a loan player, and a transfer for that position. How Gonzo's taken it is
I've chosen 3 weak positions, and one of them's got a loan, one of them's got a permanent transfer, and one of them's got a youngster in it.
Well, this will be interesting. You've got a better advantage with that one then, because I've got slim pickings for the academy as far as I'm concerned. I think there's only one academy player that can step up. So I think
I've even implemented my own rules. Obviously, I like a rule, which is basically I can't choose an academy player that's currently out on loan. So
I think that's fair.
Pots.
I think that's a fair rule. I agree with that. I would have argued if you started picking George Earth. Hang on a minute, he's not even in the academy.
Exactly right.
Anyway,
by the way,
would you like to kick us off then? Take your pick. Give us one of your players.
Yeah, well, I've tried to keep it as realistic as possible, but not make it so realistic that you rule everybody out, right? So with that, okay, so I'm not going to get Erling Haaland. Although I was very interested in Højlund, just thinking when Amorim comes in, possibly he won't play him. I don't know. So my areas of weakness, not mine, I'm strong in all areas, you understand, but the squad's areas of weakness are striker, midfield, and I feel at the moment a flair attacking midfield, the final pass.
I agree with that. I agree with those 3 areas. Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
So my first player that I would like to loan, I think this has to be a loan, really, is going to be Gabriel Jesus. And I'm going to loan him from Arsenal, obviously, because it's the only way it's going to work, this rental agreement. I'm taking him from Arsenal. They're not playing him very much at all. They like Kai Havertz up front. Edu's got the sack because he's not been able to bring in a striker. And he's too good, just too good to be sitting on the bench. I think he would not only suit our style that we have currently, but even if we were going to change it, I think he's adaptable because he's played on the wing before and also he's played as a centre forward. I think he's a tremendous player and I think he would immediately improve West Ham. So, that would be my loan signing, Gabriel Jesus, the Jesus from Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a bit on the unrealistic side, but I've got players also on the unrealistic side. We don't know who's available, do we?
I think he might be. I don't know.
If Arsenal brought in an attacking player, I could see him very quickly becoming available. I mean, if they were to sign, say, a Ghana winger from another team in the Premier League, then suddenly Gabriel Jesus may become an option for a loan move. I wouldn't be against it if he was available. I think in January transfer window, you only go into the January transfer window with the intention to pick players up, either your future planning your squad, like Aston Villa did in January of this year, or something's gone wrong. Either there's injuries, certain players aren't performing, you've maybe changed manager and he needs to bring in 1 or 2 players of his own to implement his style. So you're rectifying something in your team and that makes it difficult. So I know we always get the whole line from the club, you can't buy players in January. It's difficult. I think it's not impossible, but I do agree it's more difficult and more expensive. I certainly agree with that one. That's your loan one, man. Would you like to share your transfer?
Hold on. It's your turn, isn't it?
Well, I've only got 1 player that's not a striker, so I picked 3 players as striker. But originally, I had thought if there was one position I could rectify, it would maybe be that attacking midfielder position, because I think we're just screaming out for someone that can do something. And obviously with Paqueta's hearing supposedly after the window shuts, I think it would be wise for us to bring somebody in January. And it's the player that I wanted in the summer. It is unrealistic, but I don't care. And that's James McAtee of Man City. He's not getting loads of minutes at City. He's still in around the first team. And this would be a loan, obviously.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if the possibility of getting him on loan would be there because he would walk straight into our starting 11. He would. He would just be. He's that good to go in there. I think he would bring exactly what we're missing. Would it be Jesse Lingard-esque? No, because I don't think he's got that goal scoring element to his game. But what he could do is make those around him better, and the striker might actually get some service that doesn't involve an aimless cross. So that's somebody I had considered before I moved on to my strikers, and I stuck to the striking position only because that's how I thought the question. Yeah, that's what I thought the question was.
You regimented Ronald for nothing.
Yeah. So would you like to know my lone striker then?
Everybody wants to know your lone striker, but ain't as good as mine.
Well, maybe not as proven as yours, but he's got the adaptability that yours does, which he's maybe more of a winger at the moment, but I think he can certainly become a striker going forward. But this player is available. Now, this is actually someone Gonzo's going to have to go research for Amateur Scout. He's just not done it yet, but this is his next task. So if you're on Patreon, you're going to get Gonzo's opinion of this player in the next week. And that's Mathys Tel from Bayern Munich. Now, he is available. They are going to be loaning him out in January. Obviously, the Bundesliga clubs are lining up for him as well because they're thinking, oh, yeah, we'll have him because he's supposed to... They think he's going to have a big, big future. He's fast. If he was playing for a club that wasn't Bayern Munich, I think he'd be getting more minutes in the Bundesliga. It's just that he's got Harry Kane in front of him as a striker. Then he's got the likes of Leroy Sané and Serge Gnabry as the wingers. It's a very difficult team for him to get into. So availability, tick, young player, could go on to become a top player in future. He's not that yet. And if we could buy him, I wouldn't be against it either, by the way, but he could cover the left-hand side more than the right-hand side, could cover out on the left, could cover striker. And it's one of those, I think whoever gets him in January, they're getting a really good player, actually, and it'll be minimal. Do you know if you were to go get Gabriel Jesus, for example, Arsenal are going to charge you for it. There's going to be a hefty loan fee attached to that. You're going to have to take all his wages. You're going to have to pay a couple of million quid, a bit like what we did with Calvin Phillips this year. We had to pay Man City 3-4 million for him. That's what you're going to do. With Mathys Tel, I'm not sure that financial outlay will be there. His wages will be low. So even if you incorporate all his wages, he'd be the lowest paid player in our squad, probably. Maybe not Guilherme, but so small financial outlay, huge potential. So, Mathys Tel, that's my lone player.
Like it. Okay. Well, I say I like it. I don't know. I'll be the judge of that once I've scouted him. Okay, right. So my second position is central midfield. Now, I understand this might be a tad controversial, but he's the type of player that I feel that we need at the moment. And I had this when I was watching England, when England played Greece, and I was watching Conor Gallagher. And it's not like I've never seen Conor Gallagher play before, but we were linked to him. And there was, I don't know how much he signed for Atletico for, or maybe he wouldn't have joined us. There were times when we could have got Conor Gallagher over the last 2 years, definitely, right? And £30 million seemed to be the price. I watched him play for England. I've not watched him play for Atletico. Why would I? And I watched him. I thought, that's sort of what we're missing. He's like a Yorkshire Terrier, isn't he? Really, but he's got some decent skill set as well. We lack physicality, we lack tenacity. There's a lot of stuff. We lack legs, so I'm going to choose a person that's got legs enough for two. Actually, extremely lengthy legs, and that is somebody that should have joined us before. I know it's unrealistic. I know he's just signed for Aston Villa. One moment to do. I've got to do it. Amadou Onana. Now, the funny thing is, right?
Gonzo.
What's happened to your camera? Now, here it is. What? Listen, none of this stuff was specified, all right? Throw your comments in. Give us ideas to do videos.
You said you were trying to keep it semi-realistic at the start of the video. You just picked
a £50 million player that's just signed for somebody else. I am aware of this, all right?
And playing well and heavily involved in the team. An important player at Aston Villa already. It's not that he's not flopped. What? Gonzo.
Well, listen, the other one I wonder if we could get Satsuma from Tottenham, but because again, I like him, but he's sort of featuring a bit, isn't he? But there. They might finish lower than us, Spurs. You never know. That might be more realistic. Actually,
Who's
I can't
next?
remember.
Who's next on your list?
What?
Declan Rice.
That's right. That's
Bruno
right.
Guimaraes. I might
That's
have
right.
him. He looks all right.
Why not? Why not? This one. Actually, I'll tell you who was on my list.
Oh, no.
Actually, Joe Linton.
Oh, dear.
Right. Okay. So he was on the list as well. One of the guys, actually, and I can't help but think. Actually, I've forgotten his name now. The USA guy who was at Valencia, who we nearly bought in the summer. Brilliant guy, brilliant player. We should have gone and got him.
Munsa.
Something like that.
Youssef
Munsa.
Yeah, I can't remember his name now.
Munsa from Valencia.
No, I don't know. I can't remember. I know who you mean.
Mincing Munsa. Yeah, we should have gone and got Munsa from Valencia. So one of those type of players, any of them, all of them. There you go. Gabriel Jesus and someone amazing.
Well, that's 200 million spent. Oh dear!
I asked. You know what I mean? You go to another channel, ask someone sensible if you want. But I'll tell you what.
But
you won't get a mincing Munter over there.
His two were quite realistic. Doherty and Ben Chilwell, two players that should be available in January transfer. Yeah. I think Ben Chilwell is a good shout if you need a left back. Not that we do, but I think it's an interesting shout. Definitely better than Amadou Onana, for crying out loud. Andre, that's not my name, mate. I don't think you're getting him. Well, because I was doing strikers academy, there isn't one. There's a few players doing okay for the academy team at West Ham as a striker, but none remotely close to the first team. No. Our closest player to the first team is Callum Marshall out on loan, but he's picking up plenty of minutes for Huddersfield at the minute, leaving where he is. He's not racking up the goals, but he's getting plenty of minutes. He's usually getting, an average of 65, 70 minutes a game. And if he doesn't start the match, he's coming on pretty early on in the second half. So he's sort of like maybe not in the first 6 or 7 players of the manager, but he's definitely in the next group down. A bit like what Pablo Fornals was. Like he'd start a few, then he'd come out of the team, but he'd be the first sub of the game. He's got that role at the minute at Huddersfield, so I'd leave Callum Marshall where he is. So I've got 2 more players, and they are ambitious. And I'm glad you said Onana now, because now these have become realistic in comparison.
Yeah,
I picked 2. So the first one I'm going to go with, because I feel like there's an element of unrealism about it, is Nkunku. But the reason I pick him is because the rumours are he's available in January from Chelsea. He's been linked to Man United. And he's not worked out really for him at Chelsea. He
got injured though, didn't he, early on?
He's out for the whole of the season. Yeah. And then this season, Jackson's doing well up front for Chelsea. He's not really dislodging him. He's playing Thursday night football and he's doing okay. But I think because he's worth so much and gets paid a lot, I think it's a case of they may consider selling him in the January transfer window. And I absolutely love him. I think he's a fantastic player. And if he was available, he's one of those players that you only get him because of his situation. If you were going to try and buy him from the Bundesliga, you would never have got him. But because he's gone to Chelsea, and it would be considered a flop at the moment, but he's still a top player. So because of the rumours, I'm putting him on my list. Whether it's realistic or not, I'm not too sure. But I don't make the rumours up. Someone else did. Apparently he's available. I'd have him any day.
We do what we want.
Who's the next player on your list then? Luckily, it's got to be an academy graduate.
It's the academy graduate. So we've sorted out midfield with all of those midfielders. Minga from Valencia. We've sorted out striker with Jesus from Arsenal, and what we need now is someone to supply the bullets, because you just never know what's going to happen with Lucas Paquetá. He seemed to do okay, a little bit better, maybe. He played in past, didn't he?
I know who you're way to say now.
Of course you do, because we can't choose George Earthy because he is on loan at one of the Bristols, and we need an attacking midfielder. It's going to be Dan Rigger to play that magic, the guy that can look that way and pass that way, the guy that can do the dink over the top, the guy that can do a back-heeled through ball, the low centre of gravity, the one that's always looking to pass forward, to split the defence, that can see the pass that others cannot see. That's because I think that's the position that we would need more than. I don't think. Listen, he's not the best player available at the moment. So I would actually think Lewis Orford would, but obviously I've just signed most of the midfielders in Europe. So Orford can't come in at this point. But yeah, for that guy, that sprinkling of stardust, who I'm pretty sure is going to have a good career somewhere or other, I'll bring him in.
Right, ready for my final? And I'm going to get... I know people are going to say this is unrealistic, but I think there's...
That's gone in this video. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's... I don't know. I've convinced myself he's gettable. I think for someone... Richarlison. Now, I know there's a Spurs element here. I appreciate that. But removing that for a second... Tottenham have got a lot of attackers at the moment. And Richarlison's been injured. He's just come back. But Tottenham still have a lot of attackers. Solanke ain't getting moved. He's Tottenham's number 9, and that's that. Brennan Johnson's been one of the informed wingers in the league. Son's on the other side of the pitch, captain. He ain't getting moved. They've got Timo Werner. They've got Mikey Moore. They've got Odober. And then they've also got Richard. So they've got loads of players. And we're not even discussing Maddison, who's been playing deeper under Postecoglou. So I do think there's an opportunity for somebody to get Richarlison in the January transfer window, because I think he's worth a lot of money to Spurs. And I think he's the type of player that would move to go get football. I think he's someone that is not... You get the vibe from some person maybe content with being a squad player and picking up their wage and stuff like that. I never really get that vibe with Richarlison. I always think he wants to be the main man. He's got that. He's got a bit of the Marko Navic about him, that arrogance and ego.
He's a bit of a twat, isn't he? He's a bit of a
moaning twat, but I don't
yeah.
mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. And I think he's the type of player that would really fit into the way we're currently playing, the way we're trying to play. But also, if we were to change from Lopetegui, he's quite adaptable. He can play striker, can play on the left, can play on the right. And I think there's some players that just get on under most managers because of the way they played. Richarlison's done okay under Postecoglou, but he also did really well at Everton under a completely different style of play.
Sure.
So I think there's evidence there that he can maybe adapt his game to fit what the manager requires from him. So whether it is fast, progressive football or it's a little bit more pragmatic and counter-attacking, I think he's shown that he can play either style. And I don't think it's quite worked out for him going to Spurs. I understand why he went there. It was a big move for him. Everton got 50 million for him. I completely understand why he went there. But I do feel like he's better than what he is currently. I do feel like there's a real... I've always liked Richarlison, and I would love to see him at West Ham. Like I said, the Spurs things, I think what makes it unrealistic is the fact that he plays for Spurs rather than the fact that he would not move in the January transfer window. Part of me would be a bit surprised if he's still there in February, because I think it means that other clubs have missed an opportunity to get a really good player when perhaps they're not always that available. But yeah, because of the emergence of Mikey Moore, I think it's maybe just pushed them down the pecking order a little bit. It's got a lot of players. Tottenham don't need that much attacking players. Yes, I'm sure Spurs fans would rather get rid of Timo Werner, but you need somebody to buy him. I don't think that's happening. But Richarlison, I think there'll be more suitors, and I want us to be one of them. There you go.
I'll take Timo Werner, to be fair.
I know you would.
I've got a few. Yeah, I've got a few. It's a hard task, this one. Oh, Angel Gomez, I liked him as well. He looked good. He's in France. Good player.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't. I don't know. Surprised you didn't mention Jude Bellingham. So I saw that geezer for England the other night. Might have him.
Very good. He's very good. I'll tell you that now. I think he's going to go places.
Yeah, that'd be a good call. We'll see if you're correct. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, thank you very much to you lot for joining in. Thank you very much for the question sent in. I enjoy it. I enjoy a little bit of fun like these, even if Gonzo makes it a bit, I don't know, ridiculous. I'm into Nana. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it. Sky Thomas chat and get involved in the comments below. It depends on how you think the question was meant. You can either pick one position, then an academy player, a loan player, and a transfer for that position. Or if you think it's how Gonzo picked up, which is give us 3 players, an academy player, a transfer, and a loan position for any position where you consider to be weak areas. But one thing I do agree with you, Gonzo, that's the 3 weak spots of the squad.
Yes,
right down the middle of the pitch. Centre midfield, the flair player, and then striker. I do agree that that's just the defense is okay. The personnel.
It's only the spine of the team that needs fixing, Gio. As long as we do that, we'll be absolutely fine.